What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another video. This is your pregame prediction video for Week 17. The Dallas Cowboys are 11-4, and they're taking on the Tennessee Titans, who are 7-8 on Thursday Night Football, only on Prime Video. Let's jump right into it.
Looking down the field, Lamb, 10, 5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott.
How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.
Before we jump into today's video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content. We're going to be here all year long, and I gotta say thank you so much. As I'm making this video, we're like 10 subscribers away from hitting 1,000 on the channel. I can't believe that. I mean, when I started this channel, it was just sort of a way to vent how I felt about the Cowboys, how I always felt about the Cowboys. And to know that you guys have followed along on this journey is incredible, and I cannot thank you enough. Be sure to follow me here on YouTube, as well as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm at a lot of places. But let's jump into this game because despite common belief, it does carry some meaning. For the Cowboys, it definitely does. I know not so much for the Titans, but there's a few things that you could definitely get out of this game. Let's jump in. The Cowboys are 11-4. They're coming off a very good win against the Philadelphia Eagles on Christmas Eve. And the Titans are coming off a tough loss against the Houston Texans. Yeah, tough loss. But, I mean, they're without Ryan Tannehill, and that's the biggest thing here, because I think if Tannehill's in there, despite what you think of him talent-wise, he does offer some stability as a quarterback, and that's essentially what you need in this kind of offense, especially when you're run first and you run heavy with Derrick Henry, who's having another great year so far. But let's jump into this. The Cowboys are 8-1 at home, but this is going to be a road game, and they close out the year on the road. And they just might be on the road for the rest of the season, unfortunately. Because you got this game in Tennessee at Nissan Stadium, and then you got the game in Washington at FedEx Field. And then depending on where the seeding happens, and we'll kind of touch on that here in a little bit, if the Cowboys do fall into that 5th seed, they would be on the road, presumably playing the person who wins the NFC South, which right now would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If they win, they're in on Week 17, and that kind of locks that in. A lot of things, a lot of moving pieces here. So we're not there quite yet, but what I'm looking for here is the Cowboys to gain some momentum on the road, because they're 3-3 right now. And when you look at that record, 2 of them have been awful losses. They were up 28-14 to the Green Bay Packers and lost 31-28. They were up 27-10 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they ended up losing 40-34 on the road. So close, both those games went to overtime. They were close to being won by the Cowboys, but regardless, they're 3-3. I'm looking for the Cowboys to gain some momentum, especially if they're most likely going to be on the road in the playoffs. Closing out the season at a 5-3 record, hopefully, would bode well for me. That would make me feel good about it, rather than 3-5 or 4-4. But let's talk about something too. The last time these two teams met was way back in 2018, and if you remember correctly, we obviously lost that game. We lost 28-14, but it was the dawn of a new era with Amari Cooper playing his first game, and we started the game off really nice and hot because Cooper got the touchdown. Obviously, that did not go well because the Cowboys jumped down to 3-5, I believe it was, but they came back and had a good season. They went 10-6, and they went to the playoffs, ultimately ending in the divisional round against the Los Angeles Rams. That was the last time. But let's notate this here, and I'll throw the graphic up here. It's a little bit late because this was posted last week, but it kind of continues to roll on because the Tennessee Titans started off 7-3, and right now they're 7-8. I know the graphic says 7-7. Don't pay too much attention to that. Like I said, it was from last week, but they lost another game, so they're sitting at 7-8. 5 straight losses. This team can clinch the division next week, and I'll kind of touch on that a little bit and what I mean by that, because it does carry some sort of meaning into this game. But it kind of reminds me of the Arizona Cardinals last year. I forgot to look it up specifically, but they were on some kind of losing streak. I think it was 3 games before they played the Cowboys, and I believe it was Week 16 last year. And it was like the game that woke them up, and they ended up winning it. Now, I know this as a Cowboys fan. And I told you guys, this is a weakness of mine when it comes to games and looking at the Cowboys, is I often look at that drought of 25 years rather than looking at the straightforward season right in front of us. But, I mean, if you everyone brings their best against the Dallas Cowboys. We know that. But also, too, it's just sometimes you play the Cowboys and it's just the right game to get you back into it, right? So I don't think it's going to be this game. I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't think the Cowboys are going to lose this one because the Titans aren't healthy right now. That's the biggest thing that you got to know. They're not healthy, and they're a couple of key starters, mainly Ryan Tannehill. And this game is a little bit meaningless to them because a win or a loss doesn't really do anything for them in terms of standings or in terms of their division hopes. Everything that they need is next week against the Jaguars for their season finale, and the winner of that game goes to the playoffs because they clinched the division. And so the rumor around the league right now is that maybe head coach Mike Vrabel is looking at sitting some players to potentially rest up for that bigger game, that more meaningful game, because you would hate to play someone, injure them more, or skip an opportunity to allow them to, rest up and go into a very meaningful game, which meant a lot more than playing the Cowboys. I don't think that's going to happen, and I think a prime example of that is Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry is going to play this game. And the Cowboys obviously are going to be preparing for Derrick Henry as well because the backup for that is Hilliard, who only has 22 carries on the season and 145 yards compared to Derrick Henry's 319 attempts for over 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns. And so I think you're going to get the best here with Derrick Henry. I think you're going to get him to play because this is a Thursday night game. Let me remind you, because everyone's going to have a mini bye week here after this. The Tennessee Titans and the Dallas Cowboys are going to both have a mini bye week going into that final week. So, yeah. And so, but here's a couple things here. Let's talk about the defense because I think it's a chance for the pass rush to get their confidence back. They've only had one sack in the past 3 games. Yeah, it's been very disappointing. And you look at those past 3 matchups, I would expect the Eagles was probably going to be low. I could have told you that. But if you're playing the Texans and the Jaguars, then the Jaguars have an underrated offensive line. But the game, and that was the one game they got a sack, but they didn't get any against the Houston Texans. So definitely a disappointing outlook for the past 3 games because that pass rush needs to be generating if we want to go on a long run here in the playoffs. But the big matchup here is Malik Willis. He's the backup quarterback, and there's been some rumors around there that Josh Dobbs has been, he's been preparing up. He's been getting ready. So they could even go to the backup's backup for this game. But Malik Willis has not had a good season so far. I mean, he's 14 to 23, 99 yards. That was at least not last week. On the season, he has 0 touchdowns. He has not thrown a touchdown. I'm saying it right now. I mean, he's going to throw a touchdown against the Cowboys. It just happens to be that way. But he does have 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the year. And when you look at the stats here, I'm going to throw it down below for the team stats. Just night and day difference between these two teams, to be honest. The Cowboys are 8th in offense. They're 30th in offense. The Cowboys are 14th in defense. The Titans are 23rd in defense, which I think is a place that you want to highlight and circle a little bit because I think this defense is slightly underrated because if you look at the season total, the pressure that's generated by the Cowboys have gotten to the quarterback for 49 sacks, and I believe it was 37 sacks that the Titans have gotten on the season. So they can get after the quarterback here. Yeah, 49 sacks for the Cowboys and 37 for the Titans. So they can get after the quarterback here. And so a little bit underrated, but not going to be a huge difference maker. It's not like a Jaguars game. But that's something to look forward. If the Cowboys have a slow start to this game, I would not be slightly surprised. But they'll pick it up, and this game should be decisive. Passing, I mean, they don't really have anyone to throw it at the moment. Even with my doubts about the secondary, I think the Cowboys take care of business here. And rushing, this is actually super surprising because obviously Derrick Henry has been having a fantastic year, over 1,400 yards, but they're only 12th in the NFL with it. The Cowboys are 7th, and shout out to to Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Tony Pollard's 12 yards away from a 1,000-yard season, and Ezekiel Elliott currently sits at 829 yards. He has 11 touchdowns on the season, and Tony Pollard has 9 touchdowns on the season. That's crazy. They've had just an incredible year. But here's my defensive prediction here and what I think is going to go down on Thursday night on Prime Video. I think the Cowboys are going to get 4 sacks. I think it's going to be a game to get their confidence back up. I really do. I think they get an interception here. I don't think it's going to be Diggs. I'm going to go with what I think is slowly becoming the defensive rookie of the year, DaRon Bland. I think they tried DaRon Bland and he gets an interception. And I think the Cowboys are dominant overall. They allow under 14 points against the Tennessee Titans. So let's talk about this offense here. they did a great job of limiting turnovers last week, besides the one interception that turned into pick six. There's no fumbles, nothing like that, just one interception. So they did a good job of cleaning that up. But I really love this game to be another game where they can bounce back in another sort of way, just besides their defense. I would love to see them bounce back with their run game. It's not necessarily something that we saw heavy against the Eagles game. And here's the other thing that you should know is that Tony Pollard's been dealing with an injury. He did not participate in practice recently. And so I don't mind sitting Tony Pollard here, even though he's so close to that 1,000-yard season, even though he's so close to getting those 10 touchdowns. I know he's a Pro Bowler, but I don't mind sitting him because we got bigger fish to fry here coming up in the playoffs, and you have the little mini bye weeks. I'm okay sitting Tony Pollard because I think Zeke can carry the load here, and so I'm totally fine with it. But I expect the Cowboys to get a good running attack here. And Malik Davis, they've been working him out a lot more in practice this past week. But short, quick to the point, my prediction for the defense is I think Dak Prescott has like a similar, and the only thing I can think about is I think he has like a similar-esque game to the Detroit Lions game. I think Dak Prescott goes 20-27, like a clean 200 yards and just a touchdown. I'm going to predict he does not throw an interception this game. That's the big prediction here. I think this is the clean game here. No interceptions from Dak on Thursday Night Football. And I think Zeke runs over 75 yards. I think he gets over 100 total yards. And I think he ends the night with 2 touchdowns. But there you guys go. Week 17 going in here. Here's my final prediction here for the Cowboys and the Titans on Thursday Night Football. The Cowboys need to take care of business here. They don't need a flex on beating up this obviously unhealthy team, this hurt team. And you know what? They just need to go out there, take what you can from this game, get your confidence, enjoy the mini bye week that's following after, and just get the win. Take care of business. That's all I want to see here. We know you're going to win this game. Just go out there and win this game. So my final prediction for this game for Week 17 between the Cowboys and the Titans, I think the Cowboys win this game decisively. I think they take care of business on Thursday Night Football. I think they win. I believe they win 27-13, and they advance to 12-4. But most important thing here, this is a business trip. Stay healthy, get the W, and get out of there. And come back to Frisco and just stay healthy. We're so close to the playoffs, you don't want to see anything crazy happen. But a couple of things here, last but not least. Let's talk about the NFC East, because that's going to be the biggest thing. And like I said, there is this small scenario out there where if the Eagles lose out and the Cowboys win out, they could find themselves NFC East champs, but also the number 1 seed. So interesting. Cowboys. It starts here. The Cowboys got to win Thursday, because if the Cowboys lose, which would be that's I don't even know what to say if that does happen. But if they lose, then the Eagles automatically will clinch the NFC East. So, but if the Cowboys win, pressure's back on the Eagles to win that one game, and Jalen Hurts' status is still up in the air. So do they lose to the Saints with Gardner Minshew? That's why we play the game. And then I will also address the elephant in the room. I did a little bit of redecorating, as you can tell. And, yeah, America's quarterback sits right there. And this channel just may get a little bit of rebranding here. Instead of Tony Goat Romo, could be Dak Goat Prescott. I'm just kidding about that. Well, I don't know. But Dak is on the wall now. I'm full on the Dak train. Like I said, Coach Mike McCarthy said it at the beginning of training camp. And it plays during my videos, and you're going to hear it here in a little bit as this video closes out. Defenses win championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback. That's right. Let's go. Let's get this win on Thursday Night Football. Let's get it done. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys after the game. Go Cowboys.
Looking down the field, Lamb, 10-5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott.
How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.